Okay, all right. As you can have noticed, there is um, a building grid right that I'm standing right on top of. Okay, so this is it's called a building grid, and for obvious reasons, as you can see, there are. This is a grid of that has measurement units on it, so you can use it as a guide if you want to lay down your build. If you're thinking about building a house or something like that, where you will be able to see the measurements in meters or in Second Life meters over here. Okay, so this is one of the freebies you have in that builder toolbox, and you can always res it at your own leisure later on. Okay, I just put it on for display today. And if you follow me to the front of the class here, I am looking at this long, tall, obelisk looking thing that is blue in color. I apologize for the background sound. The neighborhood dogs are going at this point in time. And that is a property marker, corner marker. All right, and so this is again one of the freebies. If you have a plot of land and you want to demarcate maybe the four corners of your land area for your building, you can actually do so. And I think this should be something that you can perhaps take. If not, it's in the builder toolkit that you found. You can find at the back of the room. Okay. Okay. Now looking towards the left of this obelisk, this builder property marker, you see a board with different shapes. Okay, and this is called a prim finder. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the prims is a building block of in Second Life, building in Second Life, and sometimes it's difficult for you to start to picture. I see some of you click on that. Whenever you click on one of the shapes, it will display at the bottom middle section of that board. I'll give you an example of that. So let me just go ahead and if you guys don't click on it, let me just click and demonstrate. And later on, what will happen is if I found a shape that would be appropriate to one of my builds, okay, for example, now I'm gonna let me just see if I can find, oops, okay, I'm gonna look for a chair shape, and you can see the board changes. All right, and if I click on one of the chair shapes, for example this one, can you see in the bottom middle section of it, it shows the prim. Okay, and then what is neat is, if that is what I want to start working with, I can click on the bottom left hand button. There's a button that says res. Right, res means it will make it appear. If you look to the right of the board, there's a box there, a box called the prim reser. And if I click on the res button here, it will res a prim there, and I can take that prim and start to work with it. Okay, so that's pretty cool, right? You're not starting from scratch. You're starting from a prim that you can use. And I don't think any of you can actually take that prim, only I can do it. All right, and apparently the way, so this is something that I bought, and so I can't give it to you for free because I'll be violating their copyright here. I'm going to take this, and if you click on res, if you select a shape and you click on res, it'll probably tell you that you need to first, they'll give you, the board will give you a prim reser. You need to res your individual prim reser for you to be able to get that. Okay, so don't everyone do it at the same time now. You'll have time at the end of the session to play with it. I'll have this here until the end of the week, so you can still play with it if you don't purchase your own prim finder. Okay, but you get the idea here. Any questions about the three different building tools I've talked about? The building grid, the property marker, the corner property marker, and then the prim finder. I bought the prim finder, and the prim finder allows me to have all the different shapes for the chair, for all the different shapes that the prims that I want. So really, that's pretty cool, yeah. Okay, now let's switch our attention now to the right hand side of the room. You'll see there's a box that has an image of a tape measure. That's called a builder's tape measure. So look at what happens when I click on it. The first time I click on it, It'll say this is the average avatar height. So when you're building stuff, you should be cognizant of the fact that that is how tall an average avatar would look like in Second Life. So it's pretty cool, right? The next one will tell me that this is the door height and width. So this is what you would probably need to be cognizant about if you're building a building. And then this will be the first floor ceiling height. And then last but not least, I'll give you the second floor ceiling height as a guide when you are building. So that's a pretty cool tool to use. Okay, and I'm absolutely sure that you have that in your building block at the back of the room. Yeah, I'm sure that's available at the OSU Medicine Sim as well. Okay, corner view is jumping for joy. Alright, and then to the right of that, if you look at the board, that is a texture organizer, and there are different categories. Don't everyone click on that. Let me just demonstrate, and then you can play with it later on. At the bottom right hand, there are different categories of textures that has been built into this. So if I click on, say, this is now I'm clicking on fabric, and then if I click on any one of these fabrics, it will then display. And if I find the fabric that I want, all I need to do is click on the large image on the top right hand corner here, and it will give me that particular fabric. So that's a very cool way for me to organize. And then if you look at there's an advanced, previous, and the next button, and then and there are different categories like buildings. There are categories like water. Okay, so you can all at some point during towards the end of the session, you will have the option to buy this, and then don't rest it yet because it's going to be so big. When I go through an exercise for you to set up your own texture organizer, we'll spread out, and some of you can actually fly up to the top of the rooftop for you to rest, so we have more space for this. It's going to take a lot of space to rest this. Okay. All right. So that concludes all the different building tools and organization tools that I think will be useful for you to have in your repertoire. And the only thing that you need to pay for is the print finder, which is only 290 linden.